Hi guys, Anthony here with the Dragons of Victory. It's been great seeing your responses and your thoughts and comments and well wishes since the and your encouragement since the first introduction video dropped. And what this video is in the description here. I'm going to attach all the other interviews I've done on different people's channels before I started the Dragons of Victory channel. You know, just so you can have access to all the things I've said already, all the interviews I've given, and there'll be more to come. I'm reaching out to some more people and some people whose shows I've already been on to do some follow-ups, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just go to the description down there to see all that. And also, I wanted to, while I've got you here, talk a bit more, just a little bit more about this journey I'm on, this project I'm on, a project with which, in all seriousness, I consider this kind of a side project because, again, of the t- the emotional toll it can take unpacking trauma, going through and listening again and again and again to the voices and teachings of these people who hurt me and who hurt others. But again, despite me calling it a side project, it's the most important side project I'll probably ever do. And so, I'm reminded of that based on the what people have told me so far, confirming that their experience matches mine to varying degrees, and also expressing a similar thing I did earlier, where they didn't even know they could do this. It took me a while to realize, again, to fully realize the true nature of the environment I was in, and of course, the implications of all these things I'd come to know and what speaking out would mean. But I'm 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 so glad I did it, and I'm very encouraged by the words I've heard from you guys. So keep your messages coming, please. Um, I wanted to also talk about an important distinction here throughout all of this, and the fact that this distinction is still getting lost to some degree is still discouraging. But I want to just reiterate this again, that my thesis here, what I'm trying to come out here and do and say, is to get the word out there that traditional Catholicism is cult like. If you don't want to put the hard label of cult on it, I think it's valid to say cultish or cult like. I think that's undeniable. And, you know, that is, they're almost separate religions from the mainstream Catholic Church. They are, for all intents and purposes, separate religions that share the same name. I think nuance is beautiful, but nuance is complicated by definition. It requires a lot of analysis, sometimes more analysis than people have the bandwidth or willingness for, which is another thing that makes this difficult. But the distinction here is that, and some people even got mad at me for saying that the the mainstream Catholic Church isn't a cult. I say that because s- the, for the for the vast majority of people, I would say, uh, most Catholics have a completely normal, healthy experience of their environment. The teachings themselves, like I've said before, are inherently wrong, many of them. But again, the modern Catholic Church recognizes that maybe these things aren't as important as we once thought they were. Maybe we can find more exceptions to these. Maybe we don't have to emphasize and present these in quite the same way that we did. And because of that effort, and because so many people have a perfectly legitimate, comforting, normal, healthy experience of religion at the average Catholic Church, I cannot call them a cult. But again, the traditional Catholic world gets lost in that shuffle sometimes. People don't understand the distinction, and the distinction is so vast. It's like a Grand Canyon of difference, and it's so important to understand. For me, this all comes down to peace. Let me explain what I mean by that. Um, Peace is precious. It's what we all, um, at the end of the day, when we're alone or with our loved ones, or our loved ones bring us peace, they make us feel less alone. We need peace to be able to be comfortable in our own skin. And to take someone's peace away is an act of violence. And because of the comfort and peace that religion gives to so many people, it would be violent, it would be cruel and violent of me to needlessly take that away from anyone, to mock them for their beliefs, for whatever beliefs it is that gives them security and comfort and peace. But at the same time, cults, high control groups, they aren't about peace. They're about conflict. They're about, creating as much conflict in this world or as possible in some ways to, again, the mindset that they live in is that the traditional Catholics live in, that really the mainstream Catholics don't. And I've talked about this before, is that the more you suffer, the better it is for you in the afterlife. And that's why they're not about peace, because they like war, they like conflict. They're encouraged to be militant, they're encouraged to be aggressive. They they have a political agenda, they have a political ideology. They want what they call the social reign of Christ the King. They want a Catholic empire, Christendom. They have words for all this stuff. And they think society needs it whether it wants it or not. And if you don't want it, you're an enemy. And so in the same way, I'm not going to go after individuals or groups or churches that are operating based on creating a sense of community and creating a sense of comfort and peace. Again, it's a completely different thing to go after them as opposed to going after who I am going after, the groups like traditional Catholicism, who want to impose their will on you, who don't have a live and let live approach, who don't foster an attitude of peace, who foster an attitude of war. And so, if you and you have a right to, and here's a question: do you have a right to peace if you don't respect the peace of others? I would say not. So ultimately, this is what this comes down to: respecting the peace of others. And these groups have destroyed the peace of others. I've been out of that world for about 10 years now, and peace is extremely elusive for me. Um, I have happiness, I have pleasure, I have joy, I have a lot of good things in my life, but there's a tremor inside me that's just always there. I can never get rid of. And I think about all the other people out there who are in my same position, and that's why I'm doing this.